6th specifically. Basically, on that day was the day that everything really started for me, because it was like an initiation without it being an initiation. I don't really know how to explain it. Maybe you can explain it better, but it was what started a more official part of my journey with the organization. And that's also the day that you were asked to write the Pyramid Code and share with everybody in that meeting. So can you just share whatever you're comfortable with regarding that meeting on February 6th, and we'll just take it from there?
I don't want to give too many details, but the focus of this meeting was to introduce you to the group and to try to recruit you as a spokesperson for the organization, which you accepted, which was against my advice, but you accepted it. And the second one was more of a surprise for me, that I was requested to write the Pyramid Code. And the reason that it surprised me is because it's really, the Pyramid Code is taking place in the year 2448 according to the Hebrew calendar, which I think is the year 1300 BC or something like that. I don't know the exact dates. It was really describing my life experience, which was my first reincarnation into this world. And so I gave a lot of private information on myself at that time, from what I remember, which was a surprise to me. I always wanted to write it down, but I never got permission to do it. Suddenly they gave me permission, not only to write it, but to publish it and give it to the public.
When you say you weren't given permission, what do you mean by that? Who's stopping you from writing a memory that's your own?
TLS.
Why would they stop you from writing something?
Oh, they stopped me from writing a lot of things, especially in the beginning. I couldn't take down notes or anything like that, because I knew and I was afraid I'm going to forget things. So I wanted to write them down, and no, I was not given permission. And slowly, I got permission to write other reincarnations, which I did. And I kept it for myself, never in the public. And suddenly they're saying, okay, and I always wanted to write the 2448 reincarnation, give it to my close friends who are a part of DLS, who, even my wife, who knew what was going on. So I wanted to share this with her. I was not allowed. Forget share it. I couldn't even speak about it. Suddenly I was given permission to do it in writing and in public, which really didn't make sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me. But it was ordered. I did it. And you have the document.
In the document itself, I remember you wrote, I now understand why I wasn't allowed to write it for so many years.
I can't speak about that.
Or not?
I can't speak about it. I know what you're looking for. I can't speak about it. I can't tell you. But I understand better today why the timing, I understand why specifically on the state. I understand why they're trying to go public. They decided for the first time really to go public. Never ever nobody, and you can check whatever you want. Nobody ever heard about TLS. Nobody knew anything about this organization or its name until you showed up on the scene. You were the TLS. Nobody ever spoke about it. Nobody. Publicly.
How do you explain that an organization that's been around for thousands of years, nobody spoke about it? It's not anywhere. Nobody slipped up. Nobody went against them. Nobody was corrupt from within. How do you explain that?
First of all, they chose not to go public. And if you on the inside, and it's happened, very rarely, but it's happened, certain individuals betray, you're going to be dealt with.
What do you mean by dealt with?
Figure it out for yourself.
Okay, let's go with that for a second. You're dealt with, but you still said something publicly. So you're telling me that in the history of this organization, nobody's gone out and did something that was irreversible?
He was dealt with before he opened his mouth.
They know that?
They know a lot of things before you even know about it yourself. Yes.
Let's go into the controversial topics of reincarnation for a second. I know that the first part of this document is really focused on your memory. Your memory of your life in the year 2448, according to the Hebrew calendar, which is, like you said, it's about 1300, something around that. before we even speak about your memories, I want to acknowledge the elephant in the room for the majority of the world that doesn't believe in reincarnation. Maybe a lot of my viewers do, but we want to reach the masses. You want to reach billions of people. Like you said, there are 8 billion people on this planet, and we need to reach those people. So let's acknowledge that for a second. With reincarnation, science tells us, at least modern day scientists will tell us, it's a bunch of nonsense. How are you so sure that reincarnation is real?
I have a vivid memory of certain things. For example, the 2448 reincarnation, as I call it. This was my first reincarnation. I was born in the year 1360 BC. I know the exact date I was born. I remember it. And I remember it was my longest reincarnation on Earth. And I remember a lot of things. But you can't verify it because it happened so long ago. But I'll give you a different reincarnation that happened in the last 80 years. I remember it exactly. I remember certain people who have a memory as well. I met those people, and we spoke about the experience. And we both have the same memory. Not only that, I traveled to a certain country in Europe, to the place I was born and living, where everything happened. And I found a house, and I found certain buildings, places of prayers that we had, and everything I remembered was there. This is something I did with my wife, for example. I was allowed to travel with her, and just for me to find out, I can't go back to the year 1360 BC and find the building, but I can do it if it happened 80 years ago. I found the community, I found the city, the neighborhood, the building, the house, the apartment, the place of worship, and all that. It's very real. I spoke about it before, and therefore I know again. In the beginning, I thought I'm going to go crazy, okay? Because suddenly my memory came back to me in the year 2011. Up to that time, I had no clue. Something happened in one of the missions I went on. Something happened. And from that moment, I started seeing things and remembering things that in the beginning, I was sure I'm going crazy. I was sure that I have some mental and that experience on that mission. And it took people from TLS to teach me and show me that it's real. And they put me through the system and showed me that I'm not crazy. In the beginning, you think you're crazy. The stress was enormous. It was hard for me to function. You have to learn how to function in your real life. Today, in the year 2023, you have to be able to live your experience from the year 1360 BC, or the year ever. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. But I went through training, and they showed me, they taught me. And today I'm sure it's not just a dream. I know because I know the people who can remember as well. By the way, for example,